So well, in today's video I'm going to do a guide to tattoo conventions. I'm going to try and give you as much information as I most possibly can when it comes to going to a tattoo convention. I'll give you some tips as well at the end. I'm just going to give you information that I think would help. If I had known some of these things before I'd gone to my first tattoo convention, I would have been so grateful. Honestly, I would be like, oh my god, yes, because going to a tattoo convention is kind of like a learning curve. You've got to try and figure out your way around them, and you've got to figure out how to do things and stuff like that. So I thought I'd make a guide for you guys, and hopefully this may help someone. Tattoo conventions are normally most popular between the time of like February till October, and then they kind of die down a little bit for Christmas. I'd probably imagine that is because, you know, people are saving money for Christmas, and there's really no point of having a tattoo convention in the Christmas period, just because nobody's going to have much money for that. They do them sort of after Christmas, leading up to Christmas. If you want to find a tattoo convention near you, all you have to do is Google tattoo convention near your location. They are more popular in main cities and towns. In England, they're popular sort of in like big cities, so London, Manchester, Brighton, places like that. The bigger ones are in main cities because they're easy to get to for everyone in England, in the world basically, so they're easier to get to. If you've always wanted to go to a tattoo convention, just Google, you know, your location or somewhere where you can get to. So say you live upstate New York, just Google tattoo conventions New York, and you'll be able to find a tattoo convention somewhere around you. I'm sure there are little towns and places that do tattoo conventions, but they may be a little bit more harder to get to, so I'd always recommend going to one that is easy to get to. Once you find a tattoo convention that you want to go to, you can buy the tickets online. That's where I've purchased my tickets. It's just easier, and I feel like it's safer to get them online at the actual tattoo convention website. You may get transported into another sort of ticket website, but if that happens, that's completely normal. It's just easy to deal with through a company or what have you. I would say if you can, get them advanced. I've never seen a tattoo convention sell out. I'd always say it's better just to guarantee your space, so don't leave it last minute. If you can afford to get them a couple of months in advance, then I would suggest that you do that. But you can get them last minute also if you fancy just going on a whim. Like, it happens, people do it, it's not strange. But if you're desperate to go, I would say get your ticket a little bit ahead of time, and that way you can also plan your day, buy your train tickets, plane tickets, what have you, and you can get your accommodation also. Me and Liam wanted to stay in Brighton for the tattoo convention that we went to in May, I think it was. I can't even remember when we went now, but we wanted to stay in Brighton everywhere that was relatively cheap, because we didn't want to spend too much money on, you know, accommodation. It's just like, there's no point, we're staying for a night or a couple of nights. We didn't need anything too fancy. All the sort of low budget hotels and stuff were completely sold out. It could have been due to the convention, but also Brighton is a sort of tourist area, so obviously they were booked out, and it was the weekend as well, so try and book accommodation way in advance. Also, that is a big tip that I want to give to you guys, like off the bat. Like, if you're gonna stay in the location, it may be hard for you to get a hotel. If you're going to somewhere maybe like London or something, there's a lot more hotels, it may be a little bit easier. But with Brighton, there's not that many hotels. Well, there is quite a few hotels, but they have, you know, a big price range, and there's not as many hotels as, say, London. So you had a couple of budget ones, a couple of medium price ones, and then high price. The higher priced hotels in Brighton were free, obviously, but they were like £200 a night, and it's just like, no, I can go to Barcelona for a weekend for that, so I'm not going to spend £200 on a hotel. So me and Liam did the train trip there and back on that day. It was exhausting, but you gotta do what you gotta do. So let's fast forward to the day of the convention. I'm going to tell you guys a few things that you might want to know or need to know. Tattoo conventions are normally open for about 12 hours. It may be like 13 hours, it just depends. I'm just going to use an example. I'm just going to make one up. So say the tattoo convention opens at 11, it may shut at 11 p.m. at night. Normally tattoo artists tattoo for a certain period of time, so from like 11 till 8, and then they'll stop tattooing. But the convention is still open because they'll have competitions and you can still buy merch. But normally the tattoo artists will do like a 7-hour day or an 8-hour day, 9-hour day. They won't tattoo for the whole 12 hours. Some might be like totally rebellious and be like, you know what, fuck it, I'm going to tattoo for 12 hours. That's up to them. But for the most part, most tattoo artists will only tattoo for a certain amount of time, not the full time that the convention is open. They will normally stop a couple of hours before the convention finishes. Also, that gets people out of the convention also. Instead of screaming at everyone like, get out, we're closing, they sort of just calm everything down for the last couple of hours. So if you want to get tattooed and you have nothing booked, I would say get there earlier than later. If you're not into getting tattooed, or you just want to have a look or whatever, then you can sort of just turn up whenever. People do queue up before the convention is open, and people do that because they want to get tattooed by a certain artist and they haven't booked, and the artist has walk-ups on that day. If you don't know what a walk-up tattoo is, you basically go up to the tattoo artist and say, hey, I'd like a tattoo by you, can you do it for me today? If you've got any space for me, can you write my name down, write my number, what have you. So sometimes a tattoo artist will dedicate one day to doing that. They will put that on their Instagram. So if you're, you know, determined to get tattooed by an artist and they're at that convention, they'll put on their Instagram 9 times out of 10 saying, hey, I have Saturday, Sunday booked, but on Friday I'm doing walk-ups. Then if you have a Friday ticket, you can literally go there very early, get first in line if you want to, and then you can sort of find that tattoo artist, and then hopefully you can get tattooed by them. You may have to wait a little while throughout the day, but if you're there early, there's a chance you may be able to get tattooed by them. I would say the busiest times at a tattoo convention are between 1 and 5. They're more like socially acceptable hours at the weekend. So say you're going on like a Saturday, the tattoo convention really isn't going to be too busy when it first opens, because, you know, it's Saturday, it's a chill day, and the convention's open until 11, so people don't really go that early. But I definitely say the prime time and the busiest time, I definitely say the peak time of a tattoo convention is anywhere between 1 and 5, I've noticed anyway. If you're quite an anxious person, or you don't like being in crowds and you don't want to get tattooed, I would definitely say you can turn up, you know, after 4 PM and you'll still get to experience a tattoo convention in all its glory. You wouldn't miss anything out or anything. It'll just be a little bit more quieter. Being in crowds and stuff in a tattoo convention is kind of overwhelming. I don't mind crowds so much if I'm in that setting. I'm just like, you know what, I'm here, I'm enjoying it, I'm in a place that I love tattoos and stuff, so I can get past the crowd situation. But I know some people are just dead against crowds, dead against being around a lot of people. So I'd say if you want to experience it, and I highly suggest that if you're into tattoos and, you know, you love the tattoo kind of lifestyle, but you've always been a bit wary about tattoo conventions, I would say go later. You don't have to be there at a set time. You're allowed in at any time. You'll most probably get a wristband. I still have my Brighton wristband on, by the way, guys. Like, sometimes you'll either get a ticket or a wristband. You can go in and out as well, so you can turn up anytime you want. If you want a break, if it's too much, you can go out and get something to eat and chill out or whatever. So yeah, I would say if you're against crowds, turn up after like 4 PM if it's a late tattoo convention. If the tattoo convention like shuts at 6 or whatever, sort of turn up about 3 o'clock or something like that. But yeah, you can avoid the crowds. I would definitely say if it's like a 3-day tattoo convention, say Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I would suggest going on the Friday, just because I feel like that would be the most quietest day, because it's a weekday. Unless people will book off work or what have you, most people will go on the weekends just because they don't have to use any holiday from work or anything. So I'd suggest going on a Friday. I believe it's going to be the quietest day. Also, with this whole time situation, people ask me like, what do you do at a tattoo convention? Do you not get bored? Like, how long can you actually spend at a tattoo convention? I have spent, you know, a full day there pretty much. The first time I went to one, which was the London Tattoo Collective, I was there for a good 5, 6, 7 hours, I would say, and the Brighton Tattoo Convention, we were there a long time. You can definitely spend a whole day at a tattoo convention if you're really into that sort of thing. If you're just like dabbling, you like tattoos, you like a bit of art, you can spend a couple of hours there and you can enjoy the whole thing in 2 hours. There is normally exhibitions and artwork and like art galleries, and, you know, in the Brighton Tattoo Convention there was like motorbikes and stuff you could see and have a look at. So make sure you see them. But again, you could easily walk around all the tattoo stations, all the exhibits within about 2 hours, and you would have seen everything. So you guys are probably questioning like, why would you spend any longer there? Well, again, if you're into tattoos and stuff, you can literally walk around the tattoo stations again and again and again and again, and, you know, for the whole day, because tattoo artists will do different tattoos. So you'll walk around once and they'll be doing a tattoo. You walk around again and they're on another tattoo, and it's cool to see a tattoo be in progress. So some tattoo artists will do, you know, a big back piece in a day. Obviously that's not really that possible, but they will start a back piece in a day, so you can go there say at like 2 p.m, go back at 4 p.m, and they obviously made a bit of progress and it looks completely different. So that's a really cool thing to see also. So again, if you're like a massive tattoo fanatic, you can see tattoos being done in progress, which is so cool for me. I found it fascinating. And it's yeah, it's good to see all walks of life getting tattooed as well. So again, you know, tattoo artists will change the clients, so you get to see who's being tattooed, and it's good if you're nosy. So obviously with all that walking about, you're gonna get tired, no doubt about it. So you're gonna want to have a seat or something, or just chill out. There is seating areas within tattoo conventions. They're sort of all spread out. For the London Tattoo Collective, there was like a seating area by where there was a bar, and there was like a cake stand and stuff like that. So it was like little seating areas, so you could just sit and chill there. There was no pressure. You didn't feel like you had to move or anything, like you had a set amount of time that you could sit down. You've got all the time in the world just to chill out and what have you. With the Brighton Tattoo Convention, it was in sort of like this stadium theatre thing. There were seats above, but yeah, you could sort of sit up there and watch the whole convention take place and watch people get tattooed. It was quite far away, you're quite high up, so you can't see it, stuff in detail, but you could see like everyone moving about. It's good to people watch. It was so awesome just to people watch in that situation. And I know there's a few conventions in that kind of setting also, so there's always somewhere to sit and chill out if you need to, because again, you're walking around quite a lot. When it comes to food, this is obviously my most important part of my day, is like, when am I going to eat? What am I going to eat? Is there food? Is there snacks? Can I eat? With the conventions that I've been to, there has been a bar, so you can get drinks and alcoholic stuff. I would say if you are going to drink and you're going to get tattooed, just have one drink. Don't go crazy, don't get drunk. You can get drunk after you've been tattooed. It's probably not advisable, but it's one of those situations. I feel like it's just one of those things. It's just going to happen. So yeah, I'd say if you're going to get tattooed, don't drink too much before you get tattooed, or not at all if you can hold out. Obviously you're in a situation where, you know, there's alcohol involved. Don't get too leery. Just be respectful of the area you're in, because tattooed people have sort of like this reputation of being loud and leery and alcoholics and drug takers and stuff, which obviously isn't the case. But if you sort of play up to that stereotype, it's going to be a case of like, oh my god, don't ruin it for everyone else. When me and Liam went to the Brighton Tattoo Convention, there was like security guards hanging around, and I guess like I'm appreciative of people that do that. There's probably other reasons why they were there, for whatever reason. But Liam was like, I bet they've done nothing all day. Like, I guess like we assumed that there was security people there just in case a fight broke out or something. It's probably not the case, but again, just be respectful of the environment that you're in and don't ruin it for everyone else. When it comes to alcohol, I'm sure you guys are very well behaved. When it comes to food, there is sort of snack areas. You can buy cakes and crisps and stuff like that. The conventions I went to, I don't believe there was anywhere you could get sort of hot food. I'm sure it's different for each convention, but there wasn't anywhere where you could get like a proper full-on meal. But you were allowed to go in and then out. So the ones that I went to were London and Brighton. Obviously there's food places everywhere. Like, we literally walked out of the Brighton Tattoo Convention, turned to our right, walked a little bit, and then we got food. Like, you're not going to starve. So I imagine it's the same for every sort of tattoo convention. There may be food there, but if you don't like something that's there, or you have special dietary requirements, say you're vegan or vegetarian, and there's nothing there for you to eat, you can easily just sort of walk out and come back in if you want to. I'm sure it's the case for most tattoo conventions. If it's different, comment down below. If you've been to one where you haven't been allowed to leave and then come back, let me know. But I'm pretty sure you can sort of leave and then come back if you want to get food or anything. And again, if you're in a sort of a city environment or a town environment, no doubt about it, you're not going to have to travel too far to get something to eat. If you are in a sort of small town area, I would say bring food with you. So say you're in the middle of literally nowhere, like you're in a field somewhere in this sort of convention type stadium thing and there's nothing around, bring a picnic with you. I'm sure you'll be allowed to eat even if it's outside or anything. This one is for the smokers. I'm not a smoker and Liam's not a smoker, Yasmin's not a smoker, the two people I've been to conventions with. There are designated areas for you to smoke. With the London Tattoo Convention, there was like this sort of outside area, so you're still in the convention but you open the door and you're outside of this little like patio area. And then for the Brighton Tattoo Convention, there was like this smoking area. You just sort of just go out this door and there was like a sort of guarded off area. I think they had like these metal fences type thing. You could sort of just stand around outside the convention and have a smoke and you could go straight back in. I'm sure it's the same for most tattoo conventions also. The next one I want to talk about is clothing. This may surprise you. I just want to say, like, if you're going to a tattoo convention, make sure you're wearing comfortable footwear. Clothes not so much, because you are just walking around, so just make sure you can wear something where you can walk around comfortably, but footwear is like the biggest thing I would say to concentrate when you're getting dressed that morning when you're going to a tattoo convention. Just make sure your footwear is comfortable. So ladies, if you can't walk around in heels for longer than an hour, don't wear heels, like just don't do it. So make sure you either wear trainers or comfortable pair of boots or sandals or whatever you fancy wearing, but make sure they're comfortable and they don't cause blisters. That would be a top tip for me. I didn't have any issues when I went to the conventions before. I wore comfortable footwear, but I would imagine if you're wearing something on your feet that just isn't comfortable, it would not be nice, because you'll be walking around, you'll be standing around. So I definitely advise wearing something very comfortable on your tootsies. Another one that may be useless information but may help you in some way, I don't know. There is toilets within a tattoo convention, so obviously if you need to do your business, there is toilets. There should be maps somewhere around the tattoo convention to tell you where the nearest toilets are, or there'll be signs somewhere, but there will be toilets, unless you're in a tent somewhere in the middle of nowhere, but I've never heard of that before. But also there's obviously toilets where if you need to change, so if you are getting tattooed, you can just sort of change it into shorts or a smaller t-shirt or what have you, whatever you need to change into. If you want that bit of privacy, I know I would. There was people like getting naked, getting changed in the tattoo conventions on the floor, like everyone could see. And it's kind of that, it's one of those environments where it's quite an open environment, like nobody really cares, like you're all a bit crazy anyway, so a bit of naked flesh here and there ain't gonna bother nobody, let me tell you, like it's nothing. So but if you do want that sort of privacy, you can go to the toilet to get changed. Just make sure you get changed before your tattoo. Don't just turn up to the tattoo booth and be like, oh hi, I'm here for my tattoo, and they're like, okay, so I need to tattoo your thigh, and you're like, oh wait, okay, 2 seconds, let me go get changed. Get changed before you get tattooed. It'll make everything so much more easier for everyone involved. The next one I want to talk about is money. Now there is cash machines within a tattoo convention setting. They'll either be at the entrance or dotted around here and there, but 9 times out of 10 they will charge you to withdraw money. It may not be that much money, it'll probably be like £1.50, £2, £3, but again it's just like, oh my god, I could do this for free at a cash machine down the road. So you can either leave the tattoo convention to get money out, or you can sort of just bring money before you go into the convention, because there will be nothing worse than seeing your favourite tattoo artist have a free spot, going up to them and say, hey, can you tattoo me? And they say, yeah, I can do it for you right now, and you have no money on you and you have to sort of run off and get money. It just longs everything out for everybody, so make sure you're prepared with having money. For a rough ballpark figure of how much money you should take with you, if you want to get tattooed, I would say maximum £300 or something. If you're not getting tattooed, I would say withdraw £100, and that way if you find any t-shirts or prints or anything, you have a bit of money on you instead of like running off to get money, coming back and maybe that item has gone or something. So I would say just have money on you. It's just easier for everyone involved. Me and Liam didn't have money on us for the Brighton Tattoo Convention, so we had to use the cash machine there. And we withdrew, I think I withdrew like £100 or something, and obviously I didn't use it or anything, but it's better to be safe than sorry. It's better to have more money on you than not. If you don't have enough money on you, it's just like awkward for everyone. So I would definitely say withdraw more money than you need. Again, you can always put it back in the bank account, or you can spend it at another point. The other thing is, when me and Liam would use the cash machine, we sort of walked around again, come back and saw the cash machine was out of order. So that is another thing that may happen at a tattoo convention. They may have cash machines, but one, they may break, or two, they may get emptied. Like people will be using them a lot that day, and at a tattoo convention people are going to be withdrawing lots and lots of money, like £200, £300, £400 for their tattoos and stuff, so they can empty pretty quickly. I'm not too sure how much is in a portable cash machine, but I can imagine not too much. They probably can't fit, you know, tens of thousands of pounds in there, so either get there early with it when it comes to a cash machine within the convention, or just withdraw from another cash machine nearby. Again, if you're in a town or a city, it'll be pretty easy to find a bank or a cash machine to withdraw money. So on to the goods, now that you have your money. Most tattoo artists will have merch and prints for you to buy. They'll have like a t-shirt with a funky logo on it or a piece of art that they have designed, and they'll have a print of it, they'll have badges, they'll have stickers, they'll have maybe key rings or something like that. They'll most probably have merch for you to buy. So it's a way of getting a piece of art from your favourite tattoo artist without getting a tattoo, because A, you may not have enough money, or B, you can get in with that tattoo artist, they have no appointments. So it's always good to buy something from your favourite tattoo artist so you can still support them and say, hey, I appreciate what you do, but you haven't got a tattoo by them. And I think that's like really cool, and you can get prints from them, because sometimes tattoo artists don't sell prints online. The only way you can get their merch is to go to their studio, and their studio may be, you know, miles away or in another country. So I'd say getting art from a tattoo convention is really cool, and it's a memory thing also. So if someone asks you, oh, where did you get that, you can say, oh, I got this at a tattoo convention from my favourite artist. So I definitely say buying prints and merch is a really cool thing to do, and it's cheaper than a tattoo. So if you're budgeting, you can still get something funky and cool from a convention without, you know, breaking your bank. Like I was saying before, there are normally exhibits and galleries within a tattoo convention. You sort of just walk around, look at all these artwork pieces, and some are up for sale, some are not, because they're like very special or they're a one-off. So tattoo artists will put them up and say, hey, yeah, you can, you know, display this, but nobody can buy it. So they're pretty cool, so you can either buy stuff or you can't buy stuff. But normally the stuff in the exhibits and the galleries are a lot more expensive than tattoo artist prints. They'll be like £200, £300. I think the most expensive one I saw was like £12,000 or something like that. So you can buy stuff there, but it's very expensive, but it's limited edition and stuff like that, like it's one-off. But I highly recommend that you guys go and see the galleries and the exhibits when you go to a tattoo convention. Sometimes you sort of have to walk through the galleries to get to the actual tattoo area where the tattoo artists are tattooing, but just, you know, take it in, stop and have a look at the stuff, because some of the stuff is absolutely stunning and it's beautiful, and you get really inspired when it comes to the art pieces, and you may even get inspired for a future tattoo. Like, it's good to like take pictures of them. Obviously don't like print them out or anything or frame them or anything, but it's good to just sort of look at them and get inspired. It's really cool, and you get to see how artistic tattoo artists can be. Sometimes the pieces aren't actually from tattoo artists, they'll be from, you know, local artists that just do painting and stuff, but they have like that tattoo feel to them or what have you. Like, there's so many different pieces there, and it's honestly awesome to look. Okay, so on to getting tattooed. Now I have a video dedicated to getting a tattoo at a tattoo convention. I will leave the link down below if you're interested in that, but I'll give you a few tips here and there. Basically, if you want to get tattooed at a tattoo convention and you see a tattoo artist you want to get tattooed by, they will normally have flash out on their little table thing. You won't be able to get a custom piece on that day unless you've already booked in. There's just no way. So if you want to walk up tattooed, they'll have tattoos already designed for you, and if you see something you like, you just pick it, tell the tattoo artist. So if they have space on that day, just ask them, hey, do you have space? Can I get tattooed by you? And they'll either say yes or no. Don't haggle them, don't be, you know, rude about it. Don't be like, well, I paid for this ticket to this tattoo convention, I wanted to get tattooed by you, why are you not tattooing me? Like, don't be rude about it. Just, you know, it's just one of those things. So if you haven't booked in, don't expect to be tattooed. Like, it's not going to happen. It's like a lucky dip, basically. Like, you may get tattooed, you may not. At the Brighton Tattoo Convention, I said that I didn't want to get tattooed, and then on the day I ended up feeling like I wanted to get tattooed. In the end, there was either nobody free to tattoo me, or there was just nothing that I really liked, so I kind of just let go of it. There's always other opportunities, there's always other tattoo conventions. It's all about being prepared, honestly. So, you know, like I was saying, when you book your tickets to go to the tattoo convention, have a look on the tattoo convention's website and see what artists are there, and look on Instagram to see if any of the tattoo artists that you like are going to that tattoo convention, and they will post up saying, I have space for, you know, the London Tattoo Convention or something like that. So it's all about being prepared. So if you feel like you might be upset if you don't get tattooed at the convention, make sure you book in beforehand. It's quite, I would say it's like the Hunger Games when it comes to getting tattooed at a convention. Like, you have to fight for that place, you know. If you want something from the tattoo artist specifically, it's a little bit like the Hunger Games. Like, you have to email the tattoo artist pretty quickly and tell them what you want. Or I think the best thing for you to do if you definitely want to get tattooed by a specific tattoo artist is email them and say, hey, I'm going to the convention on this day, I will let you do whatever you want, and they will probably pick you up. Tattoo artists love to be creative at tattoo conventions. They want to show off their skills. So that's probably the best way to get a tattoo there. Anyway, back to the walk-up situation. Just obviously if you find a tattoo artist and you ask them and they say, yeah, I can tattoo you, there may be a chance you may have to wait around or what have you until they're free to tattoo you. That's what I had to do when I got tattooed by Jodie Dorber. She was like, yeah, okay, come back in a couple of hours, and that's what I did. So also with tattoo convention prices, they may be a little bit more expensive than they would be in a studio. Again, it's one of those situations where it's just a little bit more convenient for everyone. So say a tattoo artist has travelled from Portugal and they've come to London, they may just bump up their prices a little bit because they have travelled there. It's more convenient for you and stuff like that, so they may bump up their prices. It's not too expensive, but don't be shocked at the prices and stuff like that. They can just be a little bit more expensive just because it's convenient and it's in a different setting and it's just different. But yeah, I did make a whole video about getting tattooed at a tattoo convention. That will probably help you a lot more than just this little segment here in this video, so I'll leave the link to that down below and that may help you a lot more. Also within tattoo conventions they have competitions, so sometimes a tattoo artist will say, hey, yes, I want to be part of this competition. The competitions are normally done for bigger pieces. So obviously with my little bee tattoo that I got at a tattoo convention, it's not a big piece, it's nothing unusual, it's nothing, you know, out there. But people that are doing big back pieces over the weekend and sleeves and stuff like that, they will enter into this competition and they'll get like best in show, best in convention and stuff like that. These are normally held at the end of the day, sort of from like 7 PM, 8 PM time. With the conventions I've been to, I've never actually watched the competitions. There's normally a massive crowd around the stage and stuff and you can't really see and what have you, so if you want to watch the competitions and see all these tattoos in all their glory, I would say get there like half an hour before so you can get a good spot and see what's going on with these competitions. But basically people that have the tattoos stand on stage and then people look at them and stuff and they get judged and what have you, so they look fun. I had a little look at the London Tattoo Collective convention competition thing, like I saw someone stand on stage and stuff and there's like lights beaming on them and stuff, so yeah, if you're into that whole thing, I'd say have a look. I wasn't so much into it because I thought I can see this on Instagram. They always post the pictures on Instagram. They'll announce who the winner was on Instagram as well, so if you don't want to stand around and look at that, maybe you're tired, you've been there the whole day, I would say you can maybe skip it. But if you want to see it, that's cool. I definitely want to, you know, hang around for a tattoo competition at some point in my tattoo convention career. I haven't got a career in tattoo conventions, but yeah, when I'm going to them. So that's all the information I could kind of give you guys. I hope it's helped in some way. I'll give you a few tips. I've written down a few here. The first one was enjoy your time there. I pretty much talked about this anyway, but that was enjoy your time there, and like, yes, there's going to be crowds if you go at a crowded time, and yes, you're going to get bumped and it may frustrate you or make you a little bit mad, but just remember you're in this situation, just enjoy it while you can, and it's to be expected, to be honest with you. So if you go in with a mind of, okay, it's going to be busy, I'm going to get bumped up quite a bit, it's going to be kind of frustrating, I'm not going to be able to see everything I want to see, but if you go in with that kind of mindset, then you're not going to be disappointed, I will say that. So yeah, it can be a little bit crowded, but just try and enjoy it as much as possible, and again, take breaks. That's my second tip for you guys. So if you're walking around quite a bit, you might get a little bit tired, just sit down, chill out, get a drink. Like, there's literally no rush at all, you know, it's not all gonna just disappear within half an hour when you turn up or anything. So just take your time, have a couple of breaks here and there, get some food, and yeah, just rest your little tootsies. And the third tip that I wrote down here, which is something I've already said I think, is don't skip the exhibits. Like, honestly, like I was saying, like, they're so inspiring. You'll get to see quite a bit of artwork from your favourite tattoo artist. Like, you'll see stuff and you're just like, oh my god, this is my favourite tattoo artist. I didn't know they did like this kind of painting style. So it's really nice to see that. So I'd say don't skip them. Even if you just walk through and have a little look here and there, but I definitely say take your time and look at them. Like, they're just so cool. I love them. Back when I was a kid, I absolutely hated going to art galleries and stuff, but things have just 360'd. Like, I would love to go to an art gallery now. I'd love to see paintings and stuff like that. So you may think it might be boring to you, but it's not. It's really cool. So that's all the tips I have for you guys, and that's all the information I think I can give you guys. If you have any questions whatsoever, then comment them down below. I'll try and get back to you. I want to know your guys' experiences. If you've got any different tips and tricks to share with people that may have never been to a tattoo convention before, I'd love to know them. I might even learn something, so comment them down below. Anyway, I hope you guys are all doing very well. Thanks again for watching, and until my next video, bye.